Hey, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Night Phase, ready to bring you my Incredibles 2 review. It's finally here, the most anticipated sequel, 14 years in the making. We can finally talk about it. It's like a dream come true. Seriously, I just came out of the movie theater from seeing it. This is gonna be non-spoiler until the 3 minute mark. Gonna keep this as short as possible. After the 3 minute mark, I will dive into spoilers. So if you've seen the movie, stay tuned for the 3 minute mark because we're gonna dive into spoilers, talk everything incredible. So yes, the Parr family is back. The Incredibles doing incredible things, and I absolutely loved it. I absolutely adore the first Incredibles, and we've been waiting for the sequel for like ages. It's been long overdue. And what made the first one so great is they incorporated that superhero genre and elements into like a family dynamic with those familiar Pixar adult themes. And does the sequel live up to the original? I would say yes, even though I like the original just a little bit more. But the direction they took with this one, they did play it safe. The first one had more mature, like dark adult themes. Like that. I didn't think they would go there. And in The Incredibles 2, they kept it really lighthearted, but there's nothing wrong with that. It was still a joy and a blast to watch. It does get predictable at times, but overall, what they gave us was great. It really was. Watching the Parr family interacting again, going through, all these times, these rough times with superheroes being banned and how that can affect them. It's just great. I'm just happy to see this family back on screen. Seriously. And we got Craig T. Nelson, Holly Hunter reprising their voicing roles for Bob and Helen. As for Violet and Dash, I'm not sure if the original voice actors came back for them, but we got some new ones like Bob Odenkirk. If you know from Better Call Saul, he's voiced what's his name, Winston Dever, which is so cool. Yeah, but overall, I had a blast with this. It's a solid, strong sequel. Definitely go see this one. It lives up just as much as the original. And if you love the original, definitely go see it. It's so great. It's so much fun. It's such a joy to watch this family just kicking butt, doing what they do best. And I will give it a solid 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10 for The Incredibles 2. Definitely worth watching. Real quick, before we dive into spoilers, as for my theater going experience, I wish I could say it was as much fun and incredible. Unfortunately, it wasn't. And here's the thing, just a quick little rant. Going into this, I knew there were going to be a lot of kids because, of course, it's a Pixar film. You expect kids to go in there. But what annoys me is when like parents just allow their kids to run amok like they're in a damn Chuck E. Cheese. You know what I mean? Like, come on. There was 3 seats that were empty. These kids, they assigned these seats for these kids, which makes no freaking sense. It's like, why? Can't the kid just sit next to you? The reclining seats are big enough for you. Anyways, if you know how your kids act up, why would you give them seats next to people if they're gonna be jumping around and acting crazy? They were jumping around so much that they literally flipped. Somehow they flipped. They managed to flip the reclining seats onto them. I'm surprised they didn't get crushed. And that's when the parents stood up like, "Oh, I gotta go do my job." Like, really? No. Like, freaking annoying. I'm keeping this PG and lighthearted. I ain't gonna cuss. I'm keeping this very family friendly, but yeah, I was not a happy camper about that. I was peed off. Dang kid next to me kept moving around, fidgeting around like he had ants up his butt, and it's just annoyed the heck out of me. So parents, keep your kids in check. Seriously, if you know they're gonna be hopped up on Red Bull, whatever you're giving them these days. Anyway, enough of that. 4 minute mark. Spoiler talk. Spoiler talk. Okay? In 3, 2, 1, dive into spoilers. So, the sequel to The Incredibles takes place as soon as the original ended, which I did like. The Underminer is, wrecking havoc. The Incredibles have to stop him. Is great. We get a great scene with Violet's crush. I believe his name was Tony. And what's his name? Basically, the guy that's like witness protection for the Incredibles from the original, we get a scene with him and the kid Tony talking. He's interrogating him, is questioning him. What did he see? And he saw, excuse me, he saw Violet uh, unmasked. He knows her identity now. That he knows who she is now, and so he erases his memory, Men in Black style, which was pretty cool. And then we dive right into the action. Mr. Incredible trying to stop the Underminer. He just dives right in there, and he escapes. And there's a lot of property damage, which is crazy. And then Frozone shows up, which is I love Frozone. He's always been my favorite, one of my favorites from the original Incredibles. Samuel Jackson is great voicing him. But yeah, they managed to save the day. They save, City Hall from being absolutely destroyed. But of course, the public is not happy about them. They get arrested. Frozen escapes. Then Frozen gets befriended or approached by Winston Dever, voiced by Bob Odenkirk, and he gives him an offer he can't refuse, basically. So the Incredibles, they're out of options. They're in a motel. They're stuck there, eating crappy Chinese food takeout, and the guy ends up leaving. I forgot his name. I think his name was Rick Dicker, voiced by Jonathan Banks, which is ironic because Jonathan Banks and Bob Odenkirk are in Better Call Saul, which I love that show, by the way. So yeah, they're out of options, and Elastigirl gets brought in by Lucius, aka Frozone, and there they meet Bob Odenkirk, and I like Bob Odenkirk. He's just made for these roles as like a lawyer or a salesman. The way he just throws these line deliveries and these pitches is great. It's great. And he basically says that he wants to bring supers back because he's a firm believer in it. His father was. It's great. We get a touching flashback. How involved his father was with the superhero community. He was an advocate and supporter of supers, and one day, he gets shot during the home invasion, which sucks. And he was trying to call him, and we get introduced to Dever's sister, Evelyn Dever, voiced by Catherine Keener, another great actor or actress. So yeah, they go with Elastigirl because basically Mr. Incredible, he he's not sufficient when it comes to like keeping the property damage low. He's more of a risk. So they go with the safer choice, which is Elastigirl, and I just found that hilarious. And it made sense, and I'm glad they explained that. They just didn't, throw in Mr. Incredible as Mr. Mom, just for the sake of it. And I like that they explained that well. So they get moved into this huge mansion, a huge upgrade, and this mansion is ridiculous. It's like one of Mr. Dever's many mansions, and it has like waterfalls inside the. And another thing that I like about the Incredibles universe is that it seems like it takes place during like the 60s, but it's like they kept 60s tech and never modernized that. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, you see them driving those old school classical cars and they're watching those old school TVs. And I just think that's amazing. But there is like new technology mixed within that. And I love that that's so cool. I love that. Elastigirl gets her new bike. She's back in action. And, they're trying to bring supers back into the light because they have been outlawed, they've been banned. And that's Dever's mission. Since his dad was a supporter, he's a supporter too. So he's supporting Elastigirl. And the segments with Mr. Incredible stuck at home with the kids, it's hilarious. Like, especially with Jack Jack. Let me talk about Jack Jack. Jack Jack has all these crazy abilities. It's just one of the major highlights of this film is Jack Jack's abilities. He can like multiply himself. He could teleport into other dimensions. He can just shoot laser beams out of his eyes. He can turn into this crazy like mohawk pink rage monster. Like it's freaking great. Yeah, Jack Jack almost steals this whole movie, honestly. And he has this amazing fight with this random raccoon, which is hilarious. going back and forth with the raccoon, and just that was great. I guess the raccoon will be his nemesis now. But yeah, it was great seeing Jack display those powers. And Mr. Incredible, man. I can only imagine what it's like to be a parent. So yeah, I know if any parents see my little rant, they're like, "You don't know, you're not a dad." Blah, 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 blah. I totally get that. I'm just saying, just there are ways. I mean, look, Mr. Incredible found a way. He brought Jack to Edna. Maybe, those parents in that movie theater should have taken these kids and taken them to Edna boot camp. You know what I mean? But anyway, I like the stuff with Violet. Her, dealing kind of with her insecurity of wanting to be normal, then wanting to be super. She's very conflicted, and I like that about her. Um, especially with the kid, she has a crush on Tony because he lost his memory. She thinks he's rejecting her, and he's not. He just doesn't remember her. And I like when she lashes out at, at Dad, at Bob, because he tells her, "Oh yeah, he erased his mind." I like how he just casually says it, and she just loses it. Like, what? And she like tries to destroy her suit, but it's Edna proof. You can't destroy that suit. And as for Dash, he kind of took a little back seat in this movie, and I was fine with that. He's mainly trying to do his math, which is so funny. I hate math. Fuck. Oh, sorry. Excuse me. Fudging hate math. you know. Yeah, I've never been an advocate for math myself, so the fact that they touched on that was so funny. I can totally relate to that. They're like, math is math. This is not math. It's like, why? Why they try to change everything, the society, these schools? Why? They trying to do this to us? But that was great. He gets no sleep at all. You can see it, like, as the scenes progress, it's so hilarious. His, like, eyes. He's got bags underneath his eyes. It was so funny. The poor guy can't catch a break. Yeah, so Miss Elastigirl, she comes in contact with this villain known as the Screen Slayer. He starts toying with her at first. He tries to like, basically challenge Elastigirl, like see if she is, ready to be a super. And at first, I like that train sequence was amazing. That train sequence when the Screen Slayer uh, controls one of the train operator and makes it go backwards. That was great. Her, like expanding and unexpanding in the motorcycle that she was given was an awesome sequence. I like that. And the helicopter sequence too, when she's trying to save I believe the mayor or the ambassador, the lady. That was another great sequence. I like when she tracked the Screen Slayer and that fight and that like hypnotic. The visuals are just so captivating. Loved it. And I love that fight between her and the Screen Slayer. And it just had like that crazy Willy Wonka swirling, like hypnotic hypnosis kind of like like effect in the background. It was just like whoa. I love that. That was a great fight. But then we find out that, again, spoiler, if you haven't been following, find out that Evelyn Dever is the Screen Slayer. And, that was the one gripe I had about the movie. It was very predictable. I did like her as a villain, but I felt like she could have been utilized more. And she was stopped way too easily, you know what I mean? Not compared to Syndrome. Syndrome was a far, way better, more fleshed out villain. She had her good reasons and motives too, because like she felt opposite of her brother when they had that flashback of Winston Dever's father being shot during the home invasion. What he did was he picked up the phones and tried to contact the supers. That was his first instinct because he entrusted so much into superheroes that he thought he could be protected by them. And she hated that notion. She always said and argued with her brother, why couldn't they just go into the safe room? Which makes sense. So yeah, she basically puts those Screen Slayer goggles on Mrs. Incredible, on Elastigirl, sorry. And yeah, that's when she calls him Bob, and basically her plan, I guess, is to make supers look bad, evil in the worst way possible, and put that into the public so that way the laws stay the way they are and they could be banned for life. And it's just we get so many great scenes like with Frozone when when Bob calls Frozone and Frozone first sees Jack teleporting and doing all this crazy stuff. He's like, "What the?" Like I love Samuel Jackson. He's just great. His reactions to that was so hilarious. Edna came back, and I love the fact that Edna is a great babysitter. Like she got along great with Jack, and she saw it as an opportunity to kind of like experiment. And I love that she gave him like a cool suit with like a device that could keep track of all his abilities. That was awesome. And I liked all the superheroes that were introduced. There's so many to name. All right, Void was cool. I liked her. Um, God, there were so many. There's like this electrical guy. There's this like reflex guy that shot like lava, and there was like this Versace looking Hulk dude. That's the best way I can describe it. The big muscular dude. I don't know. It was like a cross between Versace and Hercules. I don't know what that dude's look just cracked me up. So I like the introduction of those supers, and I like the fact that her brother wasn't evil as well. He, till the end, Bob Odenkirk's character, Mr. Winston Dever, he stayed true to his ideals. He never turned bad. He never turned evil. He wasn't the mastermind. It was just his sister acting alone, and I like that aspect a lot. And then we get to the yacht scene, the boat scene in the end. It was great. Them working together, them being freed of the hypnosis, and freaking Jack in the elevator. Jack stole the movie, honestly. His abilities were off the roof. He's super OP, overpowered. It's crazy. Oh my god, he has an insane amount of abilities. It's crazy. Like at one point, he turned to like a gigantic baby, kind of like a giant man, like an Ant Man effect. It was so great. Yeah. But like I said, this movie plays it very straightforward, very safe, and I'm okay with that because it's just executed so well. Brad Bird did a fantastic job. Oh man, but it leaves you wanting for a sequel. I think I saw an interview. Brad Bird is not even thinking about doing a sequel. But come on, you gotta do a sequel. Give me a sequel. I need Incredibles 3, Brad Bird, please. Because the way they ended is open to a sequel. Because the way it ends and it wraps up, supers are no longer outlawed. They're no longer banned. They're welcome into society. They're allowed to be heroic and do superhero things. And that's what I want to see more of. And it was cool seeing Mr. Incredible's car come back, which was great. Another highlight of the movie was a dash. Trying to always use the rocket launchers in the car was another great moment. But yeah, guys. Overall, I loved it. I enjoyed it. Wish my movie theater going experience was a little bit better, but I do plan on seeing it again, and I'm sure it will be better. Hopefully. But yeah, that's my reviews of The Incredibles 2. What did you think about the movie? Did you like it? Did you love it? Did you thought it was okay? Did you think it was predictable? Did it live up to your expectations? Comment down below and let me know. Thanks for watching as always. Give this video a like if you enjoyed this review. Make sure you subscribe if you're new to my channel, and I'll catch you in the next one.